Hey everybody, welcome into the Good Buddies Anime Podcast. I am your good buddy Roger.
And I am your good buddy Brandon.
And Brandon, what are we breaking down today?
Today, we're going to talk about 4 whole episodes of My Hero Academia. Now, we are talking about the dubs.
Yep.
Just the dubs.
Yep.
But
so that's what we're keeping up with. That way, any of our dub watchers or listeners that are tuning in, you know, they don't get any spoilers or anything.
Yeah, we don't want to leave them out.
Gotta maximize that playtime, dude.
I will say that I did end up watching a couple episodes of the sub.
Yeah, I watched the first 2 seasons in sub.
Yeah,
I watched them in dub and sub. I watched them in dub at home with my girlfriend, and then whenever I was working at King's Landing, I put it on up there, and I put it in subs because you can't hear crap in there anyway.
Yeah,
for
man.
the most part.
It's got to read it.
So,
but yeah, man, that's what we're up to. But let me ask you a little question, bud. What have you been watching?
Dude, well, first we'll go ahead and say this: we had us a little meeting this week.
Has a little good buddy get together.
Yeah, we had quite a few good buddies come hang out with us and watch that My Hero Academia movie.
Yeah,
which we will be talking about
2 heroes
in a little bit.
We're
gonna talk about that on this episode in just a little bit. But I watched that, and thank you to all the good buddies that came out and hung out with us and watched the movie.
It was a great
I hope
time.
Everybody enjoyed it. I know that we did. I had tons of fun.
It was great.
That was the most fun I've had in a long time.
We fucked around in the little arcade there for a while. That was a good time. They had 4-player Pac-Man, and I whooped your ass.
That was literally the best game there.
That was very
Pac-Man.
fun.
Yeah.
I kind of want to go back just for 4-player Pac-Man.
I think that maybe we're gonna have to. They're doing those Ghibli movies over there. Maybe we can do one of those in a month or 2, and then we'll hit up that Pac-Man machine again.
Nice, dude.
But I watched my episode of Asobi Asabase, or however you say that damn name. God, did you watch it?
Yeah, dude.
Oh my god, that baby episode.
Baby was fucking weird.
Oh my god, dude, that baby is about to freaking kill me, dude.
He got like the most serious face when what's her name, Hanako was holding it, and he just goes flat, and I'm like,
yeah. What's the blonde girl?
Olivia,
yeah, she held him and he goes, spicy.
Yeah, because apparently she smells bad. They just keep saying it.
She smells spicy, dude.
She got them spicy armpits.
Oh my
Gross.
God. Oh god, it was so great. But I watched that. I watched, of course, Hanibado.
Yeah, it's pretty. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I don't know what we're winding down into, but the next episode is definitely the last. So
yeah, it should be.
We will see how it goes. I have a feeling that it's going to leave me pretty happy with one thing.
All right.
I don't know if you want to talk about that or not, but
you can't go into details.
Okay. Well, I didn't read anything. I don't know for sure, but I have a feeling that somebody's going to win that I want them to win.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. If they don't win, I'll be very disappointed with the whole series. I'll be like, it's crap, it's garbage, I ate it.
You'll be fine. You'll get over it.
Caught the new episode of MHA, of course.
Of course.
New Fooly Cooly, of course. I actually really, really liked this episode of Fooly Cooly too.
Yeah, I think
it was my favorite of the bunch.
I'm really, really enjoying this particular series of Fooly Cooly, I gotta say.
This was the first one that I complained over the past 2 that it just didn't have that Fooly Cooly flair to it. It didn't have that vibe, that feeling that similar to what the first season had.
Was it
the second one tried too hard to get?
Was it the freestyle that got you, bud?
It was not the freestyle, but that was great. It was just the overall feeling. I think it finally kind of captured that feeling. At least this once, it got it for me, and I really like that episode, and I can't wait to talk about it. And then outside of that, I feel like, I watched some Super. I watched some more Super.
Did you really? Yeah.
Yeah, I finished up Goku Black.
Had to. You were streaming streaming some fighters.
Yeah, and now I was heading to, I guess it's a bunch of one-shots right after Goku Black.
Nah.
But there were some good episodes in there. But yeah, I
cool,
checked all that out. What you been watching, buddy?
You know, not a whole hell of a lot. I did catch up on my stuffs. As you did, watch the new MHA, watch the new Hanibado, which I thought was pretty great. Watch the new Asobi, new Cells at Work. Got a little.
I need to get on that show.
That show's really fun. It's really, really fun. It's like definitely like, you know, like, oh look, here's how shit works. It's like teaching you shit, but it's also just very enjoyable. I will say that this was like the second to last one. Next one I believe is going to be, it's part 2 of this particular little arc, and boy oh boy, it's getting a little wild. Which is something, because as I mentioned in a previous episode, one of the episodes dealt with fucking cancer. So the fact that it managed to, you know, raise some stakes, okay. I don't know how you did that show, but great job. I'm enjoying it. I like it a lot. It's a lot of fun. Beyond that, though,
sometimes miracles happen.
As I did say, I talked about the. I did watch. So we're up to, like, right now as we're recording, episode 60 is out in the dub of MHA. On the sub, they're up to 62. I did go ahead and just watch those two because
I haven't been skipping ahead because of the podcast, and now I know Brandon did it. There ain't no holding me back.
Don't do it, man.
I can't do it, dude.
I will.
No, I know you were my wall, dude. You were my rock. You were my Dwayne Johnson.
You can't rely on me for nothing. I will let you down.
The floodgates are open.
I will let you down. I will make you hurt. All right.
I'll hurt myself.
But no, I'm enjoying the show a lot. I mostly, even though I did that, I might just not do it again, because I watched those two, and then I was like, okay, that was really great, but also I really cannot wait for tomorrow when y'all listen to this. If you're listening to it on Saturday, then the new episode is going to be out and you can watch it right now.
Yeah, or if you're on YouTube on Sunday.
That's episode 61. That shit, I really can't wait to see that shit in the dub, because I think it's going to be really good. There were some particularly, like, gut-wrenching lines in there that I was like, oh, I want to see how he does that. Clifford, don't let me down. But yeah, I think it's good stuff. But yeah, I haven't been watching a whole hell of a lot else other than that.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about what we're here to talk about, shall we?
Well, before we get into it, let me make a couple of apologies. The first apology is these dogs are going crazy outside, and I know it's driving me crazy. And maybe nobody else hears it or notices it, but if you do notice it, I am sorry. I can't stop them dogs, but I'm legit about to buy a bunch of foam for my room to kind of dampen the sound.
The dogs. We're just starting up with the dogs.
And second, I'm much more tolerant to my muscle relaxer by now, and I no longer get those spaced out effects. So, sorry for last week, guys.
Hey, you were present.
Kind of. That was the most boring episode that I've ever done on my part. Not on you. You were entertaining.
Don't put yourself down like that.
But it was bad, dude, because that muscle relaxer had me over here like, what's like Kaminari. I was like, had my thumbs up.
Oh no, had that Saitama face.
Yeah.
Oh no. All right. Well, are we getting into it?
We're getting into it. We're going to do episodes 57, 59, and 60, and then we're going to 58. So we can talk about the movie.
That was a special episode that kind of leads into the movie.
Yeah,
so
it was just a big commercial for the movie.
All right. Well, let's start it up with 57.
57, rescue exercises.
All right. And if you were paying attention a few weeks ago, you know that this one's going to, of course, start out exactly the way the last one ended. Buildings of the zones and stuff of the training ground exploding, crumbling, and all these potential heroes need to get out there and find them some bystanders. It's a rescue mission. Haga, Kure, and Momo actually explain what bystanders are to Mineta and Kaminari because they're fucking dummies. You know what a bystander is? What the hell? But They do that, and then as they're standing there watching this, some of the students actually notice that are people on the screen, kids and old folks, and they are revealed to be the Help Us Company, or HUC, which are a group of specially trained actors for such training exercises. One of them you are covering up the microphone.
I can't help it, dude. They are going crazier than normal out there. You have to admit.
Be quiet for a second. Let me see if I can see the thing bouncing. The tiniest little bubbles, like no one's hearing that. It's okay.
Okay. I'm buying foam.
You'll be fine
buddies.
as long as you're talking or I'm talking. They ain't gonna hear nothing.
I'm breaking the bank, but good buddies. I'm buying the foam.
All right, chill out, dude. But yeah, these one of the old people from Huck actually like hold like they're all like bleeding and shit, and he holds up like a thing that says blood on it. It's like fake blood, so it's costume. But yeah, they everyone's kind of freaked out, but they realize they're actors and whatnot. Mira explains the point system, although he doesn't go in depth. There's a couple points throughout these episodes that they give you a little more information, but they don't get the full layout of how the points actually worked until the end. But basically, if everyone who's out there, if they have more points than the benchmark, a certain level at the end of this, then they pass. Otherwise, they fail. Pretty fucking cut and dry, pretty straightforward.
Did they tell them what the
They did not. They don't tell them. They don't tell them the benchmark or anything like that. They don't go into detail until later. But Midoriya and Ida actually are watching this, and they say, "Man, it looks familiar, like Kamino Ward." And I think Ida says, "Back then, our only goal was to rescue Bakugo, and you may recall there were many casualties." To which Midoriya says, "Not this time." Just pretty intense. My boy's getting serious. So this is the part you definitely want to talk about. Seto walks over to Mineta and Kaminari and says he's got some juicy gossip, and Mineta's like, "What's it rated? XXX. Go on."
It's so good.
I hate this kid.
That beautiful boy with the sticky balls. I love him.
Anyway, he says the girl over there in the bodysuit from Shinketsu, and he's Meda's just like, "If you're gonna think she's hot, I'm way ahead of you. Had my eye on her since we first crossed paths." And I'm like, dude,
he's been looking at her the whole time. And they're about to spill the beans on our boy Midoriya.
But Seto tells tells them that she was he ran up on him and found that she was hiding in some rocks with Midoriya, and she was, quote, buck naked. Which is not how you say that. You have to say butt naked.
I like to say buck naked.
Buck naked?
I like to put an A in there. Buck naked.
Buck naked.
We're about to get buck naked in this bitch.
Buck naked. I like to throw a Y in there in the naked. Naked.
Naked.
Anyway.
Buck naked.
The two of them, friggin' Kaminari and Mineta, just snap. They confront Deku
Their faces
immediately.
Are great through this whole thing.
I really like this part. They're all up in his face. What were you doing out there? What kind of salacious activities? Kaminari says, "Was this entire test just a joke to you?" And Kami actually looks over and sees him, catches their stares, and she just and does like a really casual wave at Midoriya. And then they both flip out again, and Mineta, I wrote down this quote because, goddamn, it was so funny. This casual greeting exchange between a man and a woman whose sexual relationship has advanced several bases. And then Kaminari says, "Just how plus ultra did you end up going with?"
Yeah.
So
plus
good.
ultra did you go?
That's pretty great.
It was great, dude.
I still hate these kids.
I freaking love. You know, it's funny because he's with Sarah right now, but in the movie, which we'll talk about in a little bit, it's Mineta and Kaminari doing the.
Well, no, this is Kaminari saying this bit.
Is it Kaminari?
Yeah, it's Kaminari.
Okay.
Seto just went over there. Seto, or whatever his name is, just went over there and told them, like, "Dude, check this out."
Oh, okay, you are right.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah. It's Kaminari. It's always like Mineta and Kaminari that are, you know.
They're definitely up. Then what I was trying to say is they're definitely up to the same old games in the movie, and it's
great. fucking dinks. But yeah, Midoriya tries to explain, but they look over. She just keeps on waving, and the dudes just keep on freaking out. Meanwhile, Uraraka looks on. She looks kind of bummed out, maybe. And then Mora, the hairball guy, you don't know his name's Mora yet, but the fuzzy boy, Cousin It, walks over and goes to Bakugo and apologizes for Shishikura, his
cool
classmate.
Ass eyes too.
I really like that dude, man. He's cool. He says that he wants to build a good relationship between their schools, and he apologizes that Shishikura like definitely got all up in his face and whatnot.
That was Meatball Boy.
Yeah, that fucking Meatball Boy. Todoroki overhears this and remembers Yoarashi giving him the hairy eyeball earlier, which I didn't mean to use that term, but yeah, Mora's got like one big hairy eyeball. Anyway.
Yeah, he's got a cool eye.
He walks over to Yorashi and asks if he offended him, and Yorashi gets all like really stern, and he's like, "Oh, did I hurt your feelings, son of Endeavor?" Says,
"Called it."
I mean, kinda. You did.
Called it.
You kinda called it.
I told you it had something to do with Endeavor.
Well, for sure, it has something to do with Endeavor. But he says he hates them both, and although he has changed a bit since they first met, he still has his father's eyes. And of course, that, Todoroki's pissed off at that because he wants nothing to do with his father. He hates his father. I'm nothing like him. You kind of, but yeah, it's a pretty serious scene. Kami then tells Deku that she'll see him out there as they wander off, and of course the dudes freak out again. Uraraka tightens up a little bit, says she has an internal monologue where she says she feels flustered. Why do I feel so flustered? Looking at Kami and then looking at Deku, and she walks over and like tries to say something to Midoriya, but a bell sounds before she can, and the test begins. Most of 1A, as everyone's bursting out of this freaking building, again, the freaking building like collapses around them, and like someone actually says, "What is with these transitions?" or something. What's with these buildings? But yeah, the thing falls apart. Everybody takes off to go find some bystanders and save some, old people and children. Most of 1A is going for the urban area. Bakugo runs off on his own, but of course, Kaminari and Kirishima follow him. Midoriya stops when he hears the sound of what sounds like a kid crying, and he runs off to find this child weeping and saying that his grandpa's been crushed. And Midoriya says, "Oh man, this looks bad. What's happening?" And the kid just pops his head up. And he looks like a grown-ass dude, but he's like tiny and dressed like a kid. He goes, "This looks bad. That's points off your score." And he goes on to explain how heroes need to be able to assess a situation at a glance. Look at me, my head's bleeding. Aren't I breathing funny? You should know what's going on here.
It actually is kind of good advice for. It
is very good advice, yeah.
Because so there are words that you can say whenever you make a situation worse by saying
yeah, for
it.
sure.
It's like not the last time I went and got my eyes examined, but the time before that, I had a little old lady that did it, and she's very sweet. And I was having I think she was too sweet, and that was the problem. I just had finished wearing contacts. I was about done with it. My eyes were kind of over contacts. And I went to go get my eyes checked, and this lady kept saying, "You poor thing, you poor baby, you poor thing."
And you were like, "No
wonder you can't see that well."
Oh no,
stuff like that. Like, I don't want to hear that.
Well, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right, and that's exactly what this guy ends up telling him.
Yeah, whenever you go into a situation, there's a collapsed building, you say, "This looks bad."
It's like, "Hey, motherfucker, you're supposed to be saving us. Like, help out." That's actually the next thing he goes into. He says, "Most importantly, you need to be assuring someone in need of rescue is having the worst day of their life. This looks bad." Saying it like that, you're only going to exacerbate it. You need to and Midoriya remembers All Might and his how he's always got that smile because I am here, like that shit. And so he snaps out of it and grabs the boy and says, "It's gonna be okay. Let's go. I'm gonna rescue, I promise." And he runs off to a triage station. Everybody else splits up. Uraraka stands there for a bit. As he's running away with this kid and Uraraka's watching him, he says something like, "I'm gonna save you, I promise." And the freaking Huck person is just like, "Shut up," which is pretty great. I really like that line. But Uraraka says she feels this buzz in her chest or something, and she appears to have some kind of feelings for Midoriya. Like, she remembers Aoyama being like, "Is it because you like him?" And like all the girls messing with her and whatnot. "Ooh, you got a crush." And she also remembers Toga, the freaky discount Harley Quinn, saying, "You're just like me. You've got a crush on someone, and I bet you want to be just like that special person too." And Uraraka stands there, but she like resolves herself, and she says, "No, I'm gonna put these feelings away and focus on working just as hard as he does," which I like that. That was very nice. We then get a little scene with Mira, the sleepy boy who's overseeing all this stuff. He says he has a brief monologue there, and he's talking about how these potential heroes are out there doing pretty good so far, but how are they going to handle it when things go crazy? What's a test without a few surprises? I hope they didn't expect things to be so straightforward. And we actually see a brief scene of someone, this shadowy figure, walking through a hallway. Then we go to break. Back from the break, Yoarashi, who calls himself Gale Force, that's his hero name, uses his wind to save an old man and an old man baby. It's literally like a very old man wearing like a bonnet and a onesie, which was very funny to me. And his while this is happening, he's the old man he's lifting these two like bystanders and also all this rubble around them at the same time and swirling them around. And the old man talks about in his little inner monologue how his control is amazing. Like, this would be very risky, but he's nailing it. Like, the debris is nowhere near them. They're completely safe. But he says, but it's still reckless. Points off your score. And Yoarashi's like, "Wah!" And he like Mora Furball comes over and says, hey, you know, great job, but also you need to make sure you know the condition of someone before moving it. You moving them, you might make it worse, which is very true. If someone's been injured, you don't just start moving them. They might have like, you know, a broken neck or something, and you just end up straight up killing them. So good advice. He floats him down and like grabs him and starts walking him away, and the old man's just like reckless again, which is really great. In the stands, Shishikura critiques Yoarashi and their cowardly, very cowardly looking teacher who we know nothing about, but man, he looks like a real scaredy pants. Like, he's just constantly nervous. I don't know what this dude's deal is. He said while Shishikura is critiquing Yoarashi, he says, well, you know, you're the one who failed already, right? just pretty good. He also says that you may have, he also tells Shishikura that, you know, you're always so gung-ho about your beliefs and whatnot. You may have been influenced by Stain a bit. And he's like, what? How dare you? Me influenced by a villain? He's like, no. Like, think about it, man. Like, while his methods were wrong, like, a lot of what he said was right. Hero reform and etiquette is one thing, but hate, if you let your hate take over, that can impair your judgment. Like, that's what happened to him. Don't let it happen to you, dude. Which... good advice.
Yep.
Good stuff. Anyway, back on the field, 1A is working to rescue people. Find that most of them are just standing around. They end up splitting up, moving out, even assisting people from other schools. Notably, there's one guy who's like got some kind of eyeball power, and he's trying to look for people under this wreckage, but he can't see anything because it's too dark. So Aoyama zips over there and is like, let my twinkling help you. Pwing! It's like, hell yeah, dude.
My twinkly boy.
My twinkly boy. My beautiful twinkly boy.
I live to twinkle another day.
Yeah, man. There was also a bit where Uraraka was going to try to like lift the wreckage off of this dude, but Momo stops her and says, no. If you just go doing that all willy-nilly, then it might collapse and hurt somebody. So Sero and like Sugar Rush Boy end up like, you know, strengthening stuff and making sure everything's held together before she starts lifting pieces. And like, she almost lost a bunch of points, the dude who was trapped in there says, but she didn't. It's good stuff. In the mountainous region, we see Bakugo and Kirishima and Kaminari, obviously, and they're walking along, and there's these two people down there who are like, oh, my arm hurts real bad, and Bakugo just screams at them, help yourselves, you dumbasses, or something like that. I don't remember he said dumbass. He might have, but and the other two are like, hey, dude, maybe you shouldn't be so mean, and they're like, well, we are actually low priority, but you know, we're not hurt that much. Do you think he knew that? It's like they almost play it off, but then it was like, but his tone was still really, really angry. Points off, and he's like, what? He gets all pissed.
Yeah, they thought it was great because they thought that it might be on purpose, but it's just Bakugo.
But and
at that point, you know, you're like.
Well, I mean, maybe he realized that, because if they're just saying my arm hurts, you don't know.
He certainly did not.
I don't know.
He was just an ass, dude.
I don't know, dude.
That's Bakugo.
My dude sees things that everyone else doesn't, man. He's constantly thinking. That's the thing. Like, that's the same reason. That's the same reasoning that like the villains had before. They were like, oh, this guy's angry. This guy's a jackass. We can convert him. Nah, dude. He's trying to be a hero more than anybody. He knows his shit. So like, part of me is like, no, I think maybe he did realize that. He also was very inappropriate in how he voiced that, and that's why he lost the points.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced he didn't realize it, but either way, he still lost the points for being an asshole.
I think if he did realize it, they would have made a bigger deal out of it.
Maybe.
But
Maybe.
I think he's just being Bakugo.
Maybe.
And at that point, you realize, how the hell is he going to pass this test?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So all of that's going on. Todoroki, Asui, and Hagakure are helping people down at the river. Midoriya gets the board of the medical station, and then we see again that dark figure standing in a hallway behind one wall of the stadium. It explodes. It's another villain attack. Gang Orca. He's just a real badass.
I freaking love him, dude.
I was really glad that we got to see this dude again, because like I saw him before, like when they were fighting like the villains and whatnot, and I was like, man, that guy looks cool. What's his deal? He's a fucking killer whale. Yeah.
He's like Spider-Man. Spider-Man can do anything a spider can.
Well, this guy can do anything an orca can.
Yeah.
And also he does whatever a frog can.
And also he looks really fucking cool.
He does look really good. He's called Gang Orca. He does in fact look like a big ass gangster, but with like a fucking orca head with a big like dorsal fin on the top of him, and then like this what looks kind of like a cape, but it's like a big tail fin coming off the back of him.
It's a flowing tail fin.
Yeah, it's so fucking cool. I really like this dude. And he literally dresses like the goddamn Kingpin. Like he's got a big white suit and like a big ass tie.
He's got like his eyes are like all sunken in, the white areas all sunken in. He's got a little red eyeball.
He's fucking cool looking.
Cool.
He is the 10th ranked pro hero and 3rd ranked hero that looks like they should be a villain, Mira says, which accurate. He looks scary. So now everybody's got to fight while also rescuing at the same time. That's that episode. We're going to skip 58. We'll come back to that. And episode 59.
What's the big idea?
Hey, what's the big idea? Hey, I'm heroing here.
Yeah.
All right. 59. Before we get back to the action, we see the test designers discussing the test. In the past, focus was on individuals, like, you know, who's most powerful, who's best suited for these situations. But now the focus is more on teamwork, and they talk about how, well, All Might is out of the picture for now, and you know, apparently permanently. Endeavor is no replacement for him. He's just not as charismatic, and people don't like him as much. So rather than make one charismatic hero the face of crime stopping, the plan is to fill the gap with an army of heroes who work together and value camaraderie and teamwork. And then we get back into the actual action. Gang Orca's attack. Everyone. We also get a little bit more information about the scoring here. Mira explains a little bit. He says apparently everyone starts at 100 points, and Huck and these people in the stands are grading them constantly. And whenever they mess up or do something wrong, or they're just not doing something they should be doing, they lose points. Which we know there's a certain benchmark, and he says if they fall below 50, they're out. And that's where we get that information. So then we see Gang Orca and his gang running, and his henchmen, running toward the medical unit. Shindo, the earthquake guy from the Ketsubutsu school, he hits the, earthquake guy, vibration. So, but mostly we see him doing that in the ground. He's picking up good vibration. Excitation. All right. Could only do that because the dog stopped barking, and now that I've said that, they'll start again. Maybe they're taking a nap. All right. But yeah, that dude does a big old earthquake attack, manages to take out he hits all of the henchmen, but we see him again later, so like they got back up, but he manages to stall him for a second anyway. But what ends up, the Gang Orca gets all up in his face, and he's like, what, seriously, just one guy as a rear guard? That ain't gonna work. And just blast him with this sonic shockwave thing. And then he starts to move forward, but right as he's about to continue his attack, Todoroki just slams him with a wall of ice, which he immediately turns toward. It does his sonic blast again, and it's just like destroying the ice right as it gets to him. They're like just a wall of sound, wall of ice, and they're just slamming into each other. It's pretty cool looking. But this is where we get a little bit of a description of Gang Orca's whole thing. He can do whatever an orca can. His main mode of attack and everything seems to be using a like high-pitched sonic blast thing that like can destroy things and or paralyze enemies, which is a thing orcas do. They do a big and like
and also
either stun you or freak you out.
Like he can probably, you know, throw fists, dude.
Yeah, he fuck you up.
He'd throw a fucking potato at you. Throw a potato.
Is that what we're calling it now?
Yeah. Big old potato.
Fuck you, dude. Anyway.
Potatoes.
Stupid. Yoarashi shows up and blows the henchman and Ice away. Deku and the others get the wounded to safety, and now it's Icy Hot and M. Bison showing down against freaking Gang Orca. And at first everyone's like, people in the stands and Mira and everybody, they're like, hell yeah, they got like the two people who are best suited to handle this situation up front. This is great. They're nailing it. And then
they're not nailing it.
And then they're not nailing it at all. Todoroki, realizing that Gang Orca can blast away his ice, decides he will use his fire. So he shoots a fire blast at him. Yorashi does the same thing with his wind attack, and they just completely throw each other off. The wind ends up like splitting in the fire and everything. They just fly right around Gang Orca and don't even hit him.
Yeah.
The heat is like making the air rise.
Yeah, it makes it rise. So yeah.
And then the wind is also blowing his shots off track, so they're just completely missing.
Science.
And they're just sitting there like, what the fuck are y'all doing? And then freaking Todoroki and Yorashi just start arguing with each other like, you did that on purpose. No, you ruined my shot. This is how I talk. But while this is happening, Todoroki gets hit by a cement gun, which the henchmen are carrying. He's got a big glob on him, and it's gonna harden, and he won't be able to move. It's like one of his one arm is all like covered in it now, his shoulder. So then that's where we go to break, I believe, and then when we come back, oh no, it's after this that we go to break, but we get a brief, a little bit of Yorashi's backstory. And I just wrote down, don't meet your heroes. Because Yorashi, Windboy, M. Bison, as a kid, he loved him some heroes. He was a big fan of Endeavor, apparently. And we see Endeavor apprehending some guys, and there's a big crowd. And there he is, little Yorashi with his little autograph book and his pencil. And he wants to get an autograph, and Endeavor just slaps it away. Literally knocks it out of his hand and says, you're in the way, and just keeps walking. Like, dude, what a dick. Yeah. So, and he talks about how a hero is supposed to be, you know, caring and charismatic and you know, smiling. That's you know, inspiring people and whatnot. But this guy, all he saw was anger in his eyes, anger for everything, the whole world. Then at the UA entrance exam, Todoroki gave him the same treatment. He runs up on him and says, he says something like he's trying to talk to him, and Todoroki just tells him, you're in the way, and keeps walking. Like, whoa, what a dink.
He was being a total dink.
He was a straight up dink, dude. Todoroki tries to shake it off. He talks about how, no, I need to focus. And like try to shake off this anger, these feelings for his father, because that's what he feels like is doing this now. But he still has this intense hatred, and he just can't do it. Yorashi and Todoroki try to attack again. Again, their attacks bounce off of each other. And as this happened, a streak of flame flies towards Shindo, and he's about to be incinerated, but shoop, just in the nick of time, Deku scoops him up and jumps away, and he turns around as he's flying through the air and says, what are you two doing? Like, get it together, jackasses. So that's where we go to break. Now when we come back, we get like the full Yorashi backstory. As a child, kid was fearless. He's running around picking up bugs and shit. He's a real little, you know, little fucker. He also knew as soon as he found out what a hero was that that's what he wanted to be. It required real passion. And when he met Endeavor, he couldn't understand him. He's the only one that he couldn't get with, that he just didn't understand why he works or how he works the way he does. He says, couldn't understand Endeavor with eyes that hated everything. Then at the UA exam, the final bit of it was a 3 kilometer race, but it was through an obstacle course. And he and Todoroki at the end of it are neck and neck at the finish. He's like, he's actually ahead, but then he sees shoom, Todoroki flying past him on like a column of ice. And he wants to get up there. He wants to be the best, so he like pushes himself, and he says something like that Todoroki had those same angry eyes, but he thinks to himself, hey, you know, if we both get accepted, then maybe we'll be in the class, and maybe we can both become friends. And he shoots up, wins by a hair, and Yorashi, when it's done, in his typical fashion, being very loud and, you know, maybe a little obnoxious, says, "Oh, I won. I can't believe it. But you were amazing, though. You must be Endeavor's son. Am I right?" Like, he's trying to make friends.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know that you don't become friends with this kid by bringing up his dad.
Yeah.
And Todoroki just blows him off and tells him to stop talking. He says, "I just came here to pass some stupid test. I don't care if I beat you or not." And then he just walks away from him. And then back in the present at the test, Todoroki finally remembers this guy. He says, how could I forget him? He was so loud and obnoxious, but he wasn't really looking at him back then. He was only focused back then on rejecting his father. And now that he's, after the whole tournament thing previous season, he's kind of gotten a little bit over that, and he's like, changed a little, but he apparently still hasn't fully left him because he's still kind of a dink. But yeah, Orca attacks again. Sonic Blast Yororoshi out of the sky. He plummets. Then he hits Todoroki. Both of them are laying there paralyzed. And both of them realize, oh man, I fucked up so bad. They say, how did I become everything I hated? I have to fix this. Because it really is both of them. Both of them fucked up. Both of them became the thing they hated. Todoroki, despite his best efforts, ended up being the same jackass that his father was, at least to this guy. And this guy wanted to be so, good and like care for people, but he realizes now that he looked at, he where he never looked at anything and hated it, he does hate Endeavor and his son, Todoroki, and it's pretty rough. Pretty rough stuff. And both of them just laying there like, passed out on the ground. Shindo is back up. He hits the cannon fodder again with his freaking, earthquake attack. Todoroki and Yororoshi, as they're laying there, and Gang Orca's about to go off, he's right in between the two of them. And they both bet on each other, realizing that they've made their mistakes. They need to make up for it. And they both just bet on the other being able to help out and thinking the same thing. And their bet absolutely pays off. Gang Orca ends up in this fiery vortex as Yororoshi shoots a wind around him, and it picks up and adds to Todoroki's flame that he's shooting off of him. Both, again, as they're just laying there motionless because they're completely paralyzed. Orca sees their plan, and it's drying him out, and it's working, but he says it's actually brilliant, but it doesn't make up for before. But it is a good start. The henchmen try to stop Todoroki, but as he's laying there, he fires up an ice wall to guard himself, and they always make a point that he can't use both at once, but he's been working on switching between the two. He has to get faster. He says to himself that, since he can't move, the speed doesn't matter. He can just do it, apparently, which doesn't completely make sense to me, but whatever, bro. Deku and Ojiro, Tailboy, they cut through some of the henchmen. Mira sees that all of Huck is nearly rescued. The test is about to end. And he actually says to himself, I'll finally be able to sleep soon. And I'm like, dude, I get it. I have also been overworked. These last few episodes we talked about really got to me, bro. More of Class 1A students show up to stop the villains, including Asui, who uses a new camouflage technique. Hey.
It's blended in, dude.
I didn't point it out before, but in one of the episodes before this one, when they were working on their super move, she says, "I've been working on a technique to make me even more frog-like than before." And I'm like, how? How you gonna be more of a frog? You already got the jumps and the goofy legs and the tongue. Apparently, camouflage.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming there probably are some frogs that can use like adaptive camouflage.
Maybe, man. I don't know. I feel like they're playing Hellfire with what a frog is, but I'm fine with it. It's cool. I still love her. Mora from Shinketsu also arrives and just riggedy wrecks these dudes. So his whole deal, we actually saw it before in a little bit earlier, but I didn't write it down. His whole deal is that he can grow the hair on his body as long as he needs to, like crazy length, and control it at will. So he's just literally just whipping it around and beating the shit out of all these bad guys. It's really fucking cool. Inside of that tornado, Orca blows it away with a sonic blast after pouring a bottle of water over his head because it's drying him out. And as he moves forward, he's about to attack these kids and like finish him off. Midoriya swoops in out of nowhere with the shoot style kick, which he blocks with his arm, but it shatters. It like starts cracking away this armor that Gang Orca has on his arm. And it's looking like this is going to be the showdown. This is going to be it. This is going to be serious. But then, horn sounds, test's over. The last few people from Huck end up getting saved by Kaminari and Kirishima. And they're like, whoa, really? The test is over. Gang Orca's henchmen are like, oh, I guess we donked up, huh? And Orca says, I don't know, man. I thought we did pretty good, but that last that fire tornado attack was inspired, and then the way Midoriya jumped in, we might have lost if it went on too much longer. Everyone gathers up. Mir explains how the points actually worked, how everyone started at 100. If you drop below 50, that was it. There was also, he points out, no way to earn points. The only way you lost was by fucking up. So if you fucked up real bad, even if you did perfect after that, doesn't matter, baby. You lost them points, you're out. And then he turns on a big old screen, which displays the 89 names of people that passed. Deku, as he's Midoriya, as he's down there on the floor, searches for his name, and he's like, "Where is it? Where is it?" Credits.
Yep.
Nice little cliffhanger, and we're on to episode 60.
Episode 60. Talk about your quirk.
A talk about your quirk.
Yeah, a talk about your quirk.
This is a good one. So here's the big breakdown. Midoriya passes.
Yep.
As do Mineta.
I couldn't handle that cliffhanger. I immediately looked.
Yeah. Mineta, Jiro, Ida, Shoji, Uraraka, Sero, Tokoyami, Ojiro, Aoyama, Sato, Oshido, Koda, Yayorozu, Asui, Hagakure, Kaminari, and Kirishima. Everyone except in the Class 1A except for Bakugo and Todoroki. Bummer. Notably, Yorashi is also left out. And upon seeing this, everybody's like, whoa. And Yorashi actually apologizes to Todoroki. And Todoroki, like, slamming his head into the ground again with his big goofy bow that, like, ends up with the top of his head in the dirt. Todoroki admits that, well, he got them off to a bad start, and he has a lot to consider. So, yeah, they're kind of like, trying to apologize and make it right and whatnot, which is nice. But the other students are looking on like, I can't believe our top student didn't pass. Cue Mineta. Those entitled people at the top think so highly of themselves,
He's stirring
don't they?
the pot, dude.
Looks like our class hierarchy is collapsing. God damn it, I hate this kid.
He's great, dude.
He really thinks he's hot shit that he won and Todoroki didn't. Like, yeah, obviously I'm on top now, blah, blah, blah. I fucking hate him.
I love him. He's great.
Sheets are passed out showing everybody's scores and exactly, where they need to improve and whatnot. A bunch of people compare scores. The only one I wrote down was Momo because of the ones we hear, she got the highest score, 94 goddamn points. My girl was damn near perfect. Mm-hmm. That's an A, baby. That's a solid A. And they also talk about again how there was no way to gain points, only lose them. And that being the case, Deku wonders why those who dropped below 50 were allowed to even continue. Why didn't they just pull them out if there was no chance of them passing? Mira goes on to explain that those who pass may now act basically as pro heroes, but only in emergency situations. They can rescue people, they can fight villains, but only in emergencies. Mm-hmm. They are not full-on pro heroes. Those who failed will be given a chance to earn their provisional licenses as well over a 3-month course and then solo test. To which, of course, Todoroki's like, kind of looks on, and then it does this great thing where it shows Todoroki, like, just zoom in on his face as he's watching Mira say this. And Mira says, of course, you could also just wait until next April and take the test again. To which Bakugo pops up on one side of him and says, like hell. And then Yorashi pops up on the other side. And with the goofiest face ever, just goes, what does he say? Like, bonus classes or something like that. It was
he's
really
very excited about it.
It was real goofy.
Second chance.
Todoroki doesn't say like anything at first, and then Mineta comes over and tries to talk him out of taking the course. And he says, "No, the hierarchy is collapsing." But of course, everybody says no. He I think Ida shuts Mineta up again, and then he's like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna go for it, and they're like, we'll cheer you on. He's like, thanks guys. And it's like, great, Todoroki, you still fucked up real bad, that's why you didn't pass, but whatever, don't fuck up again. Outside, once they're all done and packing up and getting ready to leave, Deku is holding his license and crying, and then he snaps out of it, and he's like, I gotta show Mom and All Might, and he like takes a picture and is shooting it off. It's really nice. As they're leaving, Miss Joke talks to Aizawa saying, hey, maybe we should, since so many of our classes passed, we should get together and do some joint training. And he's like, yeah, that sounds good. So like, hell yeah, we're going to get some more bonus action with fucking Earthquake Boy and Telescope Girl. That'll be some shit. Yoarashi runs over, smile on his face the whole time he says this, but he runs over to tell Todoroki, hey, just so you know, nothing's changed. I still don't like you. Like, okay. I guess nice of him. But then as everyone's leaving, particularly Shinketsu school is leaving, Deku runs over to Mora and says, hey, I want to know about that special training you guys took to conceal yourself. And Mora says, I have no idea what you're talking about. He's like, what? Well, that girl in the cat suit did it, in the bodysuit. And he says, oh, you mean Kami? Well, I mean, she's already left. And he goes on to say that she apparently felt ill and left already. Also says that she's been acting strange lately, like she's not herself.
Now I definitely know that spoiler you saw that time.
You do know the spoiler, I saw that one time. We see Kami walking down an alleyway, still wearing her uniform and her hat.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see these gray globs start to fall off of her, like, her face is melting away because, we saw her do that before. She can take on the forms of other people. And then she takes a call as it melts away, and it's Toga.
Yep.
It's Discount Harley Quinn. Yeah, this was a good one. Compress and Shigaraki are waiting for her. She says that, oh yes, the mission was a complete success. I even managed to get some of Midoriya's yummy blood, she says. Yeah. And it's revealed that her quirk is that she can, in fact, turn herself into a copy of whoever she wants. She can look just like them if she ingests their blood. Presumably the amount of blood would have something to do with that or whatever, but it makes sense. She apparently managed to knock out this Kami person somewhere and get a bunch of her blood, so she was impersonating her. We know for sure she got Uraraka's blood during the big thing. And I did make sure to mention it before in our other episode when Kami is going at Deku. She swipes at him and did scratch him and got a little bit of blood under her fingernail or something, apparently. So, terrifying.
Yep.
All right. We go on. Well, the next scene is actually taking place a few hours earlier. All Might is at Tartarus Prison visiting All for One. All for One is sitting restrained with a life support system. Ceiling-mounted cameras and guns are watching him. His mental waves are scanned for even a thought of using his quirk. And on the other side of about a foot of plexiglass sits All Might. And they have a little conversation there about this and that. Notably, I wrote down this one. All Might tells him, you'll never go free. And One for All says, well, I'll let you believe that. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a good line. All Might wants to know where Shigaraki is. All for One doesn't know. I actually just wrote it down AFO in here, which was funny to me because it looked like AFI. I hate that band. Anyway.
You hate AFI?
I don't hate them.
I love AFI, man.
They're okay.
I freaking love them.
I mean, they're not the worst of those type of bands. I don't know. Particularly the only thing I know.
Which song do you know by them?
Okay, that's the thing. That's what I was about to say.
Miss Murder?
That's what I was about to say. Is the only stuff I heard from was from that album, and I didn't care for it.
There are some good songs on that album. Miss Murder is not one.
Are you telling me their older stuff is better?
Yeah. Well, they have at least another album after that's good too.
Okay. I'm still not gonna look them up.
But the album directly before that is very good.
Okay. Maybe I'll check that one out. I probably won't.
Leaving Songbird 2.
I just don't care.
Your sins into me. Oh,
All
my
right.
beautiful one now.
This can't.
Nailed it.
This can't keep happening.
Davey Havoc right here. One
All
time
right,
I met
buddy.
Davey Havoc.
That's cool, man.
Yep.
Anyway, All for One doesn't know where Shigaraki is. He says, unlike, what does he say? I didn't write it down. Unlike yours, my little bird flew the nest, and he makes his own decisions or something like that, which is a pretty great line.
Ain't working out for him yet.
not quite. But then All Might says, well, what were you hoping to achieve here with this? And All for One tells him, well, he says he goes into like a long monologue here, but he talks for a bit about how while you wanted to be the hero of justice, I wanted to be an all-powerful devil. He goes into all this. He talks about how, you know, he had this power and the means to achieve his goal. So, you know, I mean, I could have just sat around and, you know, just thought about it, lived in my own little fantasy world. But no, I wanted to make a change and do my thing, which is okay, fine. All for One asks All Might how things are on the outside, but the security that's watching over say they don't want him to know anything. Don't tell him anything, All Might. And he's like, you heard the man. And then he says, well, I can probably guess. He says, right about now, the media is probably worried about hero society with since you're not around, and the, you know, the second hero becoming the first probably isn't going to be as good. Villains, meanwhile, those who lurk in the shadow are seeing a chance to take over. Shigaraki is probably going to lay low and strike later, but you know what really, really makes him so happy? What really makes me so happy that all this is happening is that it all happened because you concealed your waning strength, that this is all really your fault. And All Might gets pissed and like stands up at that. And he doesn't say anything back, but All for One says, I can see it written on your face, which I thought was funny because, boy, you don't have eyes. Like the skin just goes over.
Yep.
He ain't got no
It's
eyes.
just like little fleshy patches.
You ain't got no eyes, Lieutenant Dan. I thought that was pretty great. But All Might says, I know what your plan was. You want Shigaraki to kill me. Well, I'm not going to die anytime soon. And he also says, I will smash your plans and you will watch helpless from a cell for the rest of your days. To which All for One, as he's leaving, says, rest of my days, huh? The fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
The fuck you think it means?
I don't want to talk about what it means.
I don't know, man. I'm scared. It's scary. He's so scary. All Might gets Midoriya's message as he's driving away with his cop buddy. That cop you don't trust.
Yep.
The Popo.
Don't trust him. Not even a little.
Then we see Midoriya and the rest of the kids back at the dorms. Bakugo tells Midoriya to meet him outside later. And later, while everyone's asleep, he does just that. And Bakugo leads him to Ground Beta, the training city and whatnot. And he starts questioning him. How could you get so strong so fast? No quirk to so powerful. You passed the exam while I failed. And he eyes him over and he says, he puts it all together. He goes into detail saying, you know, All Might and that other guy knew about each other beforehand, and that guy has the power to switch quirks around. And he tells him, you got your quirk from All Might, didn't you? And he goes into all this detail, and finally Midoriya just looks at him and says, so what if it's true? And this one, I wrote down this one because I really liked this little monologue he goes on. I don't think I got it exactly right, but he says, we both wanted to be like All Might, but I had the potential. And somehow you were singled out by the person I admired most without me even realizing it. That's why we're here. You and I are settling this right here, right now. And he's challenging him to a fight. And that's where the episode ends. And boy, oh boy, I can't wait to see that next episode. I already watched it in sub. Yeah. It was quite good. I can't wait to see that shit in the dub.
And my guy is crazy, dude. Bakugo is out of his damn mind. Because, I mean, even so, even like if you were to get into character, he has to realize that he is arrogant. And frankly, he's a fucking bully.
Yeah, bitch.
Why would All Might pass his power to somebody like that?
Hey, man.
I haven't seen Bakugo smile.
Well, I mean, now here's the thing. Dude. Here's the thing. Hang on, pause. Because he's saying he wanted to be like All Might. He was literally doing the Notice Me Senpai. He wanted to be recognized by All Might. He didn't even know that the power could be passed on until now. That's not the point. The point is that he didn't even acknowledge him, but he went to this guy who has nothing, this quirkless nothing zero, who can't even be a hero, and he made him one. That's what pisses him off. Anyway,
he's an asshole, dude.
He is an asshole. I'm not saying he's not.
He's an asshole.
Anyway, you want to talk about the special episode?
Episode. We'll just breeze through it real quick.
It was
Save
called
the World with Love.
Save the World with Love. All right. This one is in fact a special episode. Takes place before, in between 78 and 79.
Right here.
Yes. All Might and Midoriya intro this special episode. I'm not supposed to be here. What's happening at the test and blah blah? Because this is before 57, in between 57 and 59. And All Might's just like, forget about that and let's have some fun. Like, it's great. He says, we're going to save the world with love. Credits.
Yeah, this is, I think this thing is probably... This is in between season 2 and 3.
Yeah, this takes place between season 2 and 3,
yeah.
But he's saying the episode aired between 57 and 58. Midoriya then, he says, I'm not supposed to be here. What's going we're in the middle of the test and blah, blah, blah. And All Might's like, yes, and I can't wait to see what happens next. But for now...
Yeah, okay.
Like, that's what he's saying. So yeah, this is before the training camp. It's happening between seasons 2 and 3. All Might arrives at school to find Seamonsters and Midnight watching a special report on a young All Might, and it's literally just scenes from the movie. We also see David Shield, who, and Seamonsters is like, what, that David Shield? Is like, yeah, man, buddies. And just like before with All Might's phone, his name is Seamonsters. That's how they say it. They say it in this episode, you sack of shit. It's not Seamonsters. He does not toss semen. He does not toss semen. He tosses cement.
He doesn't toss cement.
Fuck you, dude.
Oh,
cement
so
toss.
tell me about semen toss, please, sir.
You're a sack of shit, and I hate you.
Can I hear about semen toss, please?
I hate you, sir. It's not his name. It's not how it's spelled. It's not how it's pronounced. How dare you? Anyway, I just wanted to make a note of this one because just like in a previous episode, where All Might got a phone call when they were in a meeting, and his phone was like, a phone call is here. A phone call is here. He gets an email. An email is here. An email is here. It's like fucking great. It's so good. But they leave to prepare for this special class that's apparently happening. The email, it zooms in as they're leaving. It says it's from Melissa Shield, greetings from I-Island. Midoriya explains in a little monologue, a little overview. He says that there's a special summer classes for anyone who wanted additional training. Midoriya, Bakugo, Uraraka, Todoroki, Ida, and Asui are all taking part in this particular class. They are going to they are told what's going to happen by Eraser, Aizawa, and also the other heroes, Midnight, Seamonsters, and All Might show up, and they talk about how they're going to be taking part in it too. Oh, and Present Mike. So they're going to assess and attempt to defuse a villainous situation, to which Midoriya and Uraraka are both like, we get to play heroes. Yay. So they end up at Ground Beta. There's a jewelry store being robbed. There's police on the scene, which are a bunch of, cardboard cutouts of police out front. And there are bystanders inside being held hostage. They need to figure out what's going on. Todoroki calls the store on his phone to distract the villain or possible villains, while Uraraka floats up to look inside through a window. They find out there's one villain. It's All Might. The rest are all playing hostages. They're tied up in the store. They needed to figure out their next move, but while they're trying to plan and figure out what they're going to do next, do we call again, try to get more information? Do we, do we try to move in through the back? What's the plan? Bakugo's like, hey, fuck all this shit. He's right there at the window. He's literally standing in front of the door. The villain is. I'm going to go get him. So he jumps in, does his little explodey flying thing, and takes out the front of the fucking store. And everyone else runs in after him to find the villain lying bloody on the ground with a big knife next to him. They're like, oh shit, he's dead. Was it Bakugo? No, it wasn't even a big blast. Fuck you. is basically what he says. So they're trying to figure out what's going on. Asui tickles All Might's nose, and she says, all right. And he kind of like he giggles a little bit. And she's like, okay, well, he's alive, but we're supposed to think he's dead. So did one of the hostages kill him? Seamonsters, they untie everyone, ungag them, and ask him what's going on. Seamonsters was an employee, handed over the jewels when this guy came in and asked for it because he didn't want any trouble. Midnight came in during the robbery and was just there to buy a few things, but ended up getting caught up in it. Mike says, yo, I came in to find a bomb ass piece of frosting for my hottie GF and was knocked out cold. I really like that. He does in fact say bomb ass.
He does.
It's great. He was already inside when all this started going down. The stories, for the most part, match up. So they're like, okay, could there have been a second villain? Maybe they started arguing. The second villain takes out this guy, takes out our first one, and then he escapes. Hostages all say they didn't hear any kind of argument. Ida checks the store. There's no exits. All the windows are sealed. It was one of the hostages. Seamonsters says that the cop, not his name. Seamonsters says that the cop showed up quickly. He didn't even but he didn't call him, and so they figure, okay, someone outside then had to call them. Midoriya then puts on his little Conan Edogawa glasses. He doesn't actually, but he may as well have, and says, "No, Midnight, it was you." And everybody's like, "What?" She's the only one that entered after the robbery began. She knew the villain already. You cared. You wanted him to change, but you didn't kill him. And that's when they say it was suicide. Ironic. Tragic. They were trying to watch out for each other. She called the cops because she wanted him to try and change his ways. She wanted to back him into a corner, so he had to change or, something. But then when all this went down, he realized that if he was captured, that it would cast a shadow over her life. They cared about each other so much. They just wanted to watch out for each other, even though this was a villainous act. And so he took his own life. Bakugo is fucking pissed because it was apparently a big love story, and he's like, come the fuck on.
Yeah.
Which is what you would do. I feel like that's what you would do in this situation.
Well, this was a love story, but it was a murder mystery, so that makes it better.
Okay. I remember you being bummed out about, like, what was it, Deadpool, because of the love story in that one?
Yeah.
Okay, but I thought it was done well. You just don't like a love story? What's up?
It's not that I don't like a love story. It's hard for me to get behind a lot of love stories because, especially in movies and stuff, I almost always feel like there's not enough time to develop it. For me.
But you ain't seen The Notebook, bro?
I freaking hate that movie.
I've never seen it. I don't have an opinion.
I freaking hate that movie.
I've seen some of that dude's other movies. The guy who wrote that, Nicholas Sparks, he's a fucking dink. He's a fucking giant dink. Here's how you make a Nicholas Sparks movie. We can't be together. No, now we can. Oh, but we can't. Okay, now we are, though. And also...
And then somebody dies.
And it's somebody always dies, and it's always like two very pretty white people kissing in the rain. That's how you make a Nicholas Sparks movie.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yep. It sounds about right. Yeah, movie stuck. But yeah. No love stories. Deadpool, you brought up Deadpool. Now I want to explain myself.
Okay, tell me about it.
Deadpool, I just felt like...
It was unnecessary?
It was totally unnecessary. They finally got the green light to make a rated R Marvel movie. Deadpool is over the top. He hacks people up.
I thought that was what made
I felt
it
like
fun.
there wasn't enough violence in the movie.
I don't know, man. That fool straight up
not to like make it sound like I'm hyper like all about violence and stuff, but I thought the movie
You watch a lot of horror movies.
Yeah. I thought overall Deadpool was pretty tame though.
I still haven't seen part 2.
I thought it was tame. No, I haven't seen it yet.
Dude, I'll like rent that. We can have movie night.
Okay.
Cool.
Sound good.
But yeah, I thought the love story was pretty good in there. Yeah. Particularly like the way they used that to do so much of the humor, like when he's about to propose to her and he's got a fucking what was it, a ring pop up his butt. Yeah, that was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Anyway,
it just took too much time, I think.
Yeah, well, okay. But anyway, they figured it all out. Eraser confirms rather Midoriya's thinking, says that yes, that was you figured it out exactly. That's exactly the scenario we had planned. Great job, blah de blah. It was really good, but you failed. And they're like, what? Well, you forgot something. And they turn around.
All Might's gone.
All Might is gone. The villain wasn't dead. Asui's nose tickle was not a mistake on his part, but a clue. Now Bakugo's extra pissed. And my favorite part of this is when they realize he's gone. It cuts to All Might running away. He's like, hey, I am here, running away from the scene of the crime. Like, it's fucking great.
Yeah.
It's so good.
So
He's just
good,
chopping.
dude.
Oh, man, I really love that shit. But yeah, that's how that one goes. And then back at the office, All Might reads that email. It's an invitation to iExpo from Melissa Shield. She talks about how there's the big thing going down, this big expo and whatnot, and you were she calls him Uncle Mike. You were such good friends with Papa. He'll be so surprised when he sees you. I haven't even told him. You should show up and blah de blah. And he's like, oh, neat. And then the next thing you see is All Might running with a suitcase. I am here, ready to ambush young Midoriya as he gets off from school. And he does. He does ambush him.
I love him, man. I love him.
It's very good. He does ambush him. He's like, have you heard of Island? And he's like, yeah, I have. And he gives him all these details, and All Might's like overwhelmed by it. But then he's like, well, listen, do you want to go? And he's like, hell yeah. And he's like, okay, well, pack your shit. We're leaving right now. He's like, what? There you go. And
cue in the movie that we watched this week.
And then cue the movie. Yeah, we went and saw the movie this week. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
We went and saw, subtitled, of course, although apparently the next night there was a dubbed version. I'm not sure. Yeah. I think maybe the movie theater.
I wasn't too worried about because I will say that the
I thought it was very well done.
The sub for MHA is very good.
Oh yeah.
This isn't the 90s anymore, so most of it is very, very good.
Yeah, they fucking nail it. But it was pretty cool. We went there to the movie theater. It was Good Buddies Meetup. We already talked about that. Super fun. Some people there, particularly a couple friends of mine who came, had never even seen the show, but I talked to them after, and they were like, no, it was really fun.
Didn't he watch like
Joe tried to binge the first 2 seasons to get ready for it.
How far did he get?
He said he had like maybe 6 or 7 episodes left of 2. And that is, I talked to him Monday about it. So then he got off work, and keep in mind, this is a person who works morning shifts, sleeps, goes to bed pretty early, and also has like all these online internet classes and shit for programming, all this other stuff he's doing, these college courses. So in between all that, he managed to get almost completely through 2 seasons in 2 days. So good on you, bud. Take a fucking nap. Yeah. I didn't tell you to do all that shit.
I hope you enjoyed it, dude.
Oh, I think he definitely did. We talked about it.
To be fair, that show, like, once it starts flowing, from even the very beginning.
Oh yeah,
once it starts flowing,
rocks.
Dude, those episodes just fly by.
Yeah, dude,
you lose track real quick.
The show freaking rocks. But yeah, the movie was really fun. We don't want to go into too much detail because it's very new.
But let's talk about some favorite parts here.
Okay, go. I know you want to talk about your.
Let's talk about my boy Mineta.
God damn it.
Let's talk about Mineta, man.
Saving the day.
He did more work than almost anybody else in the whole damn movie.
Fuck you.
He did, dude.
That's bullshit.
There were at least 3 scenes where Mineta was doing work.
He was terrified and didn't want to do this thing, and they talk him into doing it. I think it's Kaminari who talks him into doing it because he's like, do it for the harem, man.
Yeah.
And he's like...
They said if he were to do these tasks and go along with everybody, his chances of having a harem increase.
Stupid.
So the whole time through the movie, he's doing work.
And he's like,
in the hopes
for the harem, do it for the harem.
Yeah, he's got his sticky balls. He's like climbing up this vent because he's the only one that can fit in there.
Stupid.
He's like, do it for the harem, do it for the harem, do it for the harem. All Might says shit. It's
twice?
Great. Yeah.
2 times. All Might says he says shit. And I really want to see the dub to see if he actually says shit.
Yeah, me too. I'm so curious.
Hey, I'm putting it on you right now, guys. Everybody at the studio, let All Might say fuck. All right.
Yeah.
Go on.
What was your favorite side superhero in the movie?
Oh gosh, like just a cool moment they had?
Yeah. Or? A cool moment or a new character that you saw.
There was one dude who has no lines and you don't see doing anything, but he looked exactly like fucking Jose Chung.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Which I can't remember the guy's name. Was it shit, who is it? He's like a movie reviewer guy. Gene Shalit. He looked like Gene fucking Shalit. He looked like goddamn Gene Shalit. But this fucking dude, he had no lines, but I really enjoyed the way he looked with his goofy mustache and crazy hair. I really did like the villain in this one was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, he was cool.
He's basically Magneto, but he was really cool. And then I will say I was kind of bummed that, because I know it would be impossible because there's so many people in the class for them to all get a good scene, but like some of the kids just straight up were regulated to not even in it.
Yeah, Brandon was a little sour because my boy Mineta was up in there.
Stop.
And people missed out. Would you have Mineta removed from the movie?
I'm not saying I'd have him removed. He's good. He
was great, dude.
He's good.
He's
good
parts.
Comic relief. It's fine. He's just a giant dink, and I hate him.
But can we talk a second? Can we talk a second about my boy Godzilla?
Godzilla! There was a dude named Godzilla.
He was a giant Godzilla, dude, in a red jacket.
So fucking cool.
It was a cape. I don't remember what he was wearing, but he's wearing something.
He's like there for this long in like the first 10 minutes.
He's like the kaiju hero or something.
But he's a straight up Godzilla. His name is Godzilla.
Well, MHA is done by Toho, and Toho are the ones who does Godzilla, so it makes
why the hell not?
Makes sense. Another notable character in there.
You see, you've got it all pulled up, so you're looking at the shit.
Oh, dude, how could I forget about Godzilla? And this one I couldn't forget because something like this just happened recently. We were live streaming that SNK game. Okay, and they made in the cow outfit. There's straight up a hero in here called Cowgirl.
Yeah.
What is the deal with
cows?
Yeah. Well, no, it's like things coming from Japan.
Yeah,
and
cows.
Females being cows.
So I have two things to say about this. One thing I've seen a lot is like is you'll see people, usually female characters, particularly when they have big old boobies, that are either dressed as or compared to a cow because milk. Haha. The other thing, and I have no idea if this is true or not. Here's a dumb anecdote that it's like the only thing I remember from watching any like late night talk show in the 90s or early 2000s, I guess. But I remember it was what's that Quentin Tarantino was on one of these talk shows, and he's talking about being in Japan and how over there they don't say that's cool or that's neat or whatever. They say, as he described it, and I remember it vividly, he says they go miu be or something like that. It was like some weird word. And finally he asked like, hey, what does that mean? And they said it translates to cow vagina. And he says, why? And they go, 'cause it's so big. Now, I can't imagine that has anything to do with anything, but it's the only other thing I know about Japan and cows. And it's fucking ridiculous.
I don't know. I've never noticed it before until recently. And that was 2 instances almost back to back where I was like, why are these girls cows?
'Cause it's fun. Why not?
I guess so. I mean,
you don't like cows? Cows are cute. Cows are great.
It's also, it feels like a reference that's making fun of them for their breast size. And also, when you call somebody a cow, generally you're calling them overweight. So,
but bitch, I'm a cow. Bitch, I'm a cow. I'm not a cat. Yeah. I don't say meow.
I got nothing, dude. It just strikes me oddly, I guess.
Got
but
milk,
yeah, so there was cow
beef.
Lady. Let's talk a little bit about.
I sent you that Doja Cat video and you were not as into it.
No.
It's fucking great. You can get on the train, bro. That shit's amazing. Somebody back me up on this.
There were some good scenes. Melissa, the one who sent the letter, there was some great scenes with her.
Oh my God, really yes. I think maybe my favorite part of the whole stupid thing was there's a bit where she, and this is minor spoilers, I guess, she is showing Midoriya around and they're like, he's freaking out over all these cool this cool stuff in this room, and they're like right next to each other like wow, and he doesn't know anyone else is there, and then from behind him,
and this is the first time we see somebody from UA.
From behind him you just hear Uraraka say, wow, you seem like you're having fun.
Yeah, you look like you're having fun.
And he's like, what? And like, because he was so excited a second ago, and now she's like, oh, what's going on? You seem like you're having fun. And then Momo's like, yeah, you seem like you're having fun. And then GR's like, yeah, you seem like you're having fun. It was really...
Then there's some conversation.
It was really great.
And then it flashes back over to Uraka, and she repeats it again. After some more having... Yeah, it was... Oh, my God, that scene was
really
amazing.
funny. Like, she was so... Aw. Oh, my sweet baby girl.
And then we get to the boss fight for the movie. We won't spoil much, but
it's pretty sick.
I want to emphasize how awesome that fight scene was.
It was badass. It was very badass.
Animated super well.
Mm-hmm.
It just flowed so fast. There was almost no downtime from like I would say the movie ends to 20 minutes back. There's almost no downtime in the movie. It is just
man.
Pow, pow, pow,
it was
pow,
really,
pow,
really
pow.
good.
It is amazing. I cannot recommend that movie enough.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
To own that damn movie.
Yeah. It's probably like a Amazon download for me. But yeah, I really
put it on Verve
it.
too. Plenty of people need to see that damn movie. It's good.
That'd be cool.
It's good. So, you good buddies, if y'all saw that movie, let us know what you thought. Let us know your favorite part of it.
Yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. I liked it a lot. Also, the fact that a few of the girls are like stuck in their room, like not doing anything. They can't even get out. And Hagakure, Invisible Girls, are like, "You guys want to play Uno while we wait?" And I'm like,
product placement, dude.
Speaking of, okay, I gotta. There's one that you're gonna catch in like 2 more episodes. That's like, whoa, product placement. We'll get to that.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll talk about that later, obviously. But you'll know it when you see it.
Sure.
And I'm just like, this guy's such a fucking hipster. Anyway, you'll see.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and let's get you out of here, buddy. You might be playing some of that Magic tonight.
Yeah, man, it's pre-release. I'm trying to get.
Yeah, we still got a little bit of time to get you out of here. We don't got any questions.
Right now. We got no questions.
So, yeah, man. Let's throw out them plugs.
Let's hit the plugs.
Well, first, let's tell them what we're doing next week.
Next week we are going to do. So here's the thing.
Here we go.
The plan
I actually have a solution.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Next week we're gonna do Fooly Cooly Progressive Alternative, not progressive.
Yeah, don't fuck up.
Fooly Cooly Alternative episodes 1 and 2.
So you want to do?
Yes, we'll do two. We'll have some shorter episodes of it, but initially we're going to do 3.
We're
that would have left us
3
with
and
a gap.
3, yeah. But then like the thing is our timing with it. We're going to do 4's about to come out, so that'll be this episode. Then the next one comes out. We'll only have the next 2. We'll end up missing the last episode and have to do another thing.
Yeah,
so we're going to do 2.
We'll have a batch of lighter episodes and. Yeah. We'll get some good buddies to send us in some good questions.
Yeah, man.
I admittedly did not put the feelers out for questions today. I've been working on some graphics for the channel, and it slipped my mind. I also had to take care of some stuff, but let's get them plugs out, buddy, and let's get you into a pre-release to play some Magic together.
Well, let's talk about it. If any of you nerds want to send us, any of my beautiful good buddies want to send us some questions and whatnot, you do have, of course, thegoodbuddies@gmail.com. We do also have the Good Buddies Facebook. That is the Good Buddies Universe. You can check us out there, hit us up, hang out, get in on the discussion. It's always a good time. We do have the Twitter account, TGB_AnimePod. And there is even the Tumblr, thegoodbuddies.tumblr.com. Yes, they all have different names. Yes, you would be fine. Also, keep in mind that you may be listening. You can, of course, listen to this anywhere fine podcasts are sold, even though we don't sell them. That's your Stitcher, your Podcast Addict is what I use. You got your Podbeans. You got iTunes, pretty much anywhere except Spotify, because, you know, they ain't cool enough for us. That's why it is.
They just, kind of hard to get onto.
All right.
But we'll get there. We're gonna get there one day.
You see, Roger here doesn't want to badmouth Spotify just in case we do get on there later. I'm saying it now. Spotify can eat this dick. All right. Let's continue. You also may be listening to this or watching, I guess, on the YouTube channel. That's Rapid Kick Media, where it goes up on Sundays. But remember, the episodes actually get uploaded onto all the podcast stuff on Saturdays, so you can watch it there a day early as soon as it comes out. Beyond that, I think that's it for media, right?
Yep,
I always want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything.
I think you got it, bud.
Okay. Beyond that, we do, of course, want to give a shout out to our good buddies, Married with Seamonsters, a.k.a. the Mary Janes, for the use of our opening theme song, Paperdoll. They are on Spotify, but that song, as well as many of their other cool tracks, are only available on marriedwithseamonsters.bandcamp.com. Check them out. Get in on it. It's so, so good. We do also want to give a shout out to our good buddy, Petty Theft. Took you a second. That is how you spell it. 2 P's at the beginning, 2 T's at the end. Petty Theft. That's on SoundCloud and on Twitter. Petty Theft. for our closing theme song, which we are still currently calling Sweet Anime Dreams. But, you know, if you got a suggestion for that, something's better than that, by all means, hit us up. We'll switch it out every now and then. But I think that's about it for us. Who's taking us out, big boy?
I'll take us out if you want me to.
Take us out, big boy. So from all of us here at the Good Buddies universe, I am your good buddy, Brandon.
And I am your good buddy, Roger. You look like you're having a good time.